Niger Delta Tour. Vice President Osinbajo visits Ondo, reiterates government's development master plan. Amnesty boss holds town hall meeting with the Ijaw community in Edo State. Commissions borehole project to ease public water needs. Plus, tidbits, fact file, and more. Hello, and thanks for joining me this day for another promising episode of Reintegration 30,000. My name is Stella Inamiti, and this week we will, as usual, explore various unique and generic aspects of the Presidential Amnesty Program. There is absolutely no doubt that much has already been achieved by the Presidential Amnesty Program in the Niger Delta, and of course, the Amnesty Office is looking forward to breaking new grounds as more delegates clinch successes in their various trainings both here in the country and overseas. As we also do know, thousands of lives have changed, and their stories form the core of what we do here on Reintegration 30,000 each week. We will begin this episode by bringing you a segment, A Changed Story. Over the last 10 weeks or more, we have had the privilege to meet delegates with inspiring stories of change and reformation. These stories have rekindled our sensibilities and humanity, strengthening our belief and faith in our power to seek that which is good and right. Our change story for this week reinforces these same feelings and reaffirms the reformative influence of the Presidential Amnesty Program. Please sit back and watch this inspirational segment.
My name is Daniel Asukwu. I'm a Cross River from Cross River State, Bakassi local government, and my community is a Prebuto.
My name is Roger Ofoma James from Delta State, Ugele precisely.
My name is Dr. Sosoko. I'm from Niger Delta, from Southern Ijaw, Local Government area.
I was not opportune to come from a very good parental background. And secondly, I happened to be physically challenged, so things was not going well with me in totality.
Before I joined the Amnesty Program, was the things that are so hard then. So I believe that I come from a poor home, so education is not there for me. So I decided to join people around in tedious work, all kind of tedious work. My brothers are around, friends, I see some people, they are doing well, chopping money. I was so surprised. Where are these people getting their money from? Let me just risk in and see what is happening there. So I'll be with them, but they will disclose the essence of the money to me. So we come to it at the time, the military men now tripping in. I was so worried, they are on the run. I'm asking them, what is the issue? They were saying that I should relax, no problem. So we get to an stage, they now open up to me. So this is what they do. During the time of white men kidnapping before it now stopped. So I was so shocked. So this is what people do, and I didn't know, and I was just shopping with them.
I'm a simple person. I humble myself. I respect my elders. Then any person that comes to me for something of help, which I have, I will help the person to assist. Because I got this opportunity of coming here.
Along the line, I do go to, I joined some bad group where they say tough gambling. I will be there so that I will be doing some marking, I know how to get money. So I don't mind whether you have a little. Anyhow, I could feel ginger that you are little. To leave you and to become mine, I have to do that in order to survive my life. with my condition that time, I have no option. Either to kill in order to survive my life. I am ready provided I can survive. Not now. You understand me? So it is my past story, no doubt. So I joined them. When I go into the camp, they give me the orientation. They learn me how to shoot. Finally, there was somebody that was in the engineering department that was servicing the rifle. In fact, he admires me so much. He loves my courage. He now tried to introduce me to the engineer section. When the issue of amnesty now came, in fact, all of us, everybody, all of us were happy. Those that were not happy were those that just came into the camp newly. They did not perceive what we perceive. That we can go out in 20, but we come back in 10.
So many are so scared, and so many just decided whatever will happen will happen. So they went there, some look for the amnesty. When there, the amnesty, I was so encouraged. Just okay, what will I do?
Right now, as I'm speaking to you, then, I did not know I would be somebody that I can be reintegrated to the society, larger society like this. Have friends, go to church. The Creek life, when we were taken to Obubra, the influence of that Creek life was still in us. See, we have our rehabilitation training, image capturing, and so on and so forth.
I can say that this is work of God, because I remember when I'm in Obubra, I put it in machinist. That is the work that I learned. When I get here, I was so surprised that what I wrote then is what I'm saying. It's not what I wrote then, but what I'm saying here now is more bigger than what I wrote there, because what I wrote is a machinist shop. That is a turning machine, which we use to fabricate all kind of engine parts.
Right now, as I'm talking to you, I am now a family man to start with. I am a father of 4, plus my dear wife, 5, and myself, 6. As I am here, they are there. They are well to do. I have a house, though it is not mansion, but at least no matter how small it is, I am contented. It makes me happy, like somebody's mansion would make the owner happy. I have a wife, I have a home, I have a society that are looking forward to me.
My experience here is very nice. The people arranging us for the welding are very nice people. They are not shouting at us. Whenever where you are wrong, they will correct you with a sweet voice. They are lovely and caring. So with that, they motivate me to go more with their kind heart. So give me the encourage to go into the welding school.
I thank the government of President Muhammadu Buhari, in his effort, let me start it this way, in his effort to fight crime in our society.
I will give all my thanks to everybody, because I didn't know in my own aspect, some particular people that is putting good hand on this my own issue. I didn't know them. So I just said that I will just pray to God to grant their wish.
These delegates have truly demonstrated the power of change and have chosen to each lead a life that would inspire others. Well, remember, we did tell you earlier that there are 48 delegates undergoing training in agro-welding and fabrication at the Scientific Equipment Development Institute in Enugu State. That is our focus on this episode of Insight. While most of the vocational trainings under the Presidential Amnesty Program are target-driven, some are specially designed to help close existing gaps and boost value addition. And agriculture provides a plethora of opportunities. The quest by government to explore potentials in commercial agriculture has continued to propel the Amnesty Office to plunge delegates into agro-allied industries. And training partnership is key. Welcome to the Scientific Equipment Development Institute, SEDI in Enugu State. This institute is a unit of the National Agency for Scientific and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, supervised by the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology. It is also providing the Presidential Amnesty Office with expertise for its next generation of agro workers. delegates with skills to provide services along the agriculture secondary value chain. In essence, the Amnesty Office is pushing the frontiers by helping delegates acquire practical knowledge in the development of indigenous technology to add value to local production.
So many organizations in this country, like NMPC, international companies or organizations like UNIDO and UNICEF, have, to a very large extent, patronized the local content initiative of this establishment. Why? Because we were able to develop a technology that competes favorably with the international standards. And everything we've been able to do to assist the local industrial sector in this regard have been proven to be at par with international standards. And so we received the patronage, and everybody that has come here for one thing or the other has solely depended on what technologies we can offer.
A total of 48 delegates are currently undergoing training at the Institute. These delegates are the harbingers poised to blaze the trail in agro-processing as far as the Amnesty program is concerned. The training at the Scientific Equipment Development Institute is, however, spread across 3 intrinsic yet delicately linked divisions. The first is the Computer Numerical Command Department, which is essentially all about precision in molding and fabrication. The bulk of the delegates are, however, engaged in agro-welding and fabrication, which is the second department under the training. The third is electrical engineering, seeming far removed from other trainings, but connected nonetheless.
What they're trying to do is to bring up modernization in whatever thing we're doing, to see that the end product can stand the value with what we have outside the country. So if you are fabricating, definitely electricity is needed, and with the advent of computers, those of them in the ICT can actually give their input even during fabrication for them to have precision.
Though each division under the training program here in SEDI is important, it would appear that more emphasis is being given to the section on agro-welding and fabrication. A number of reasons make this imperative. The training in agro-welding and fabrication is at the core of the partnership between the Amnesty Office and the Scientific Equipment Development Institute. The ultimate goal of this partnership is to help grow a new generation of youth with expertise to fabricate local processing technology for agricultural produce across the country.
If, for instance, especially in the riverine area, somebody has a fish farm, after harvesting, the residue, the remaining that are not sold, these attorneys will have the capacity to develop dryers that will dry those fishes in good time and enhance their quality and be able to preserve them for further sales or for export. Also in agriculture, those that are into cassava farming, these are delegates who have the skills to be able to create equipment that will aid them in either preserving their products or adding value to their products for secondary use.
Another unique and rather fascinating prospect of this particular training is the planned establishment of agro-products processing parks in 4 Niger Delta states: Bayelsa, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, and Cross River. These parks would be strategically planned and will form part of the empowerment packages for these delegates at the end of their training.
The empowerment aspect of this will be done in conjunction with SEDI, the consultants. They're going to determine the kind of equipment that they need in their locality to function. And whilst they're in their locality to function, with the SEDI knowledge and contact, they will identify what kind of equipment that will best serve their need.
The training at the Scientific Equipment Development Institute is scheduled for 2 months, with a post-training orientation workshop on business relations already designed and planned for successful delegates. Thanks for staying with us. And for those just joining us, you're watching Reintegration 30,000, a series on the activities of the Presidential Amnesty Program for former armed agitators in the Niger Delta. Moving forward, our guest on this week's episode of Talking Point was a former gubernatorial candidate of the Congress for Progressive Change, CPC, in the Bayelsa 2011 governorship election. Former National Deputy President of the renowned Ijaw Youth Council, IYC. Founder, Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, and current President, Pan-Niger Delta Youth Leadership Forum, Mr. Famous Daunamia. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Stella.
You have remained an active part of the Niger Delta Development Initiative. In your opinion, how critical or integral does the amnesty program factor in the scheme of things as per fast-tracking the desired growth, stability, and maintaining the peace in the region?
As far as I'm concerned, I think the Niger Delta Presidential Amnesty Program remains the key factor securing the peace in the Niger Delta. Without this program, I don't think that Nigeria will be able to run our budget, because imagine you extract 30,000 agitators, armed agitators from the Niger Delta, and putting them through a process of training. You have actually diverted a lot of crises that ought to have been brewing. So this program is a success, and it's a program that needs to be, attention needs to be given, well-funded. We observe a lot of lapses in funding as well. So we advise that the program needs to be well-funded so that it can maintain the peace that we're enjoying today.
There have been reports of pockets of disturbances in the region. As a youth leader, what does your group do to help curb rising tension and reorient the youth on positive social values?
As an activist, we are genuine in our cause. Our agitations were very straightforward. We want an economic space. We never agitated to be in criminal form. These activities of killing soldiers and JTF officers is very criminal. And that's why our group and the Presidential Amnesty Coordinator, General Borough, we have a series of meetings together to see how we can go and ensure that we have all the lives secured. So these criminal elements must be fished out, differentiated from the genuine agitations of the people.
How do you think balance can be reached in the Niger Delta to a level where the people, particularly the youth, can take ownership of development projects and efforts in the region?
I think there is people are putting a lot of efforts to ensure that we have a very peaceful Niger Delta, that will attract investors. But I must be bold to say that the way and manner things are aligned in the country right now also gives us a very big problem for those of us who still speak with the youth. If you can see the recent NNPC appointments and all the rest, it doesn't show that they're carrying everybody, because the federal character principle is not really applied. But in Bayelsa State, for instance, it's about 1% that is reflecting there, and those are key oil producing areas. Such kind of things can also, if not well properly addressed, can also give those handling the amnesty program huge task in securing peace for the area.
Can you possibly, in a nutshell, sum up your impression of the Presidential Amnesty Program as a success? Or if not, tell us what you think it should be doing.
I think that the program is a success, huge one. You can see the production of the oil production is on a steady rise. It means whoever the General Borough is doing a lot in managing the affairs of the region. And though the other aspect of the amnesty program that we still appeal to the federal government to implement is the infrastructural aspect of it. Physical development needs to be in place. That's not a duty of the coordinator of the amnesty program. He's doing the training and the integration as well, and the empowerment that is being assigned to do. So it's a very huge success, and I think that the whole Nigerians know that it's a success. It's not something that we can say. You know, the oil production is a test case to show that it's a success.
Is this a general feeling in the Niger Delta?
Yeah, of course, of course.
every Niger Delta person knows that it's a success because you know what, it's quiet. For me, I see Niger Delta is peaceful, apart from the pockets of criminal elements that can be fished out. If the program is well strengthened. Funding, regular funding is an issue. When you don't pay stipends as of when due, you give a load of burden to the managers of the program. And it's difficult to convince people that the monies that have not been paid over time are not held in the amnesty office. But whereas it has to do with the release from the Ministry of Finance and all the rest. So prompt funding of the program is very key so that the managers of the program can be up and doing. So for the Niger Delta, it's a very huge success because a lot of training, we have pilots, we have engineers that have passed through this process. I think it's a very huge success for us.
Thank you for joining us on the program. It's been a pleasure speaking with you on these matters.
Thank you.
Mr. Famous Donumia was a former gubernatorial candidate of the Congress for Progressive Change, CPC, in the Bayelsa 2011 governorship election, a former national deputy president of the renowned Ijaw Youth Council, IYC, founder, Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, and current president, Pan-Niger Delta Youth Leadership Forum. It is now time for PAP in recap. The federal government has reiterated commitment towards the development of the Niger Delta through community project enhancement, human capacity, health and infrastructural development. This was contained in Vice President Yemi Osinbajo's message to the people of the region during his tour of Ondo State. The Vice President, however, used the opportunity to maintain that government will not neglect any region of the country in its development plan. Meanwhile, as part of efforts to address the security situation in the Niger Delta region, the Special Advisor to the President on Niger Delta and coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Brigadier General Paul Boro, met with Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu to discuss strategic plans to ensure safety of lives and property in the state. General Boro, a keynote discussant at the second Niger Delta Council meeting in Akure, informed the governor that he was in the state on a working tour to join efforts at ensuring that peace is sustained to allow for economic and infrastructural development in the state and beyond.
I must express my deep appreciation and pleasure to be around here as part of my responsibility to ensure peace and stability in Ondo State.
Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu urged the federal government to expand the current amnesty program to accommodate more youths in the Niger Delta region.
If we are thinking about for the benefit of majority, to reach out to many more people and not limited few, then make it something that can be affordable and everybody will benefit from it.
Lastly, in another news, the Special Advisor to the President on Niger Delta and coordinator of Presidential Amnesty Program, Brigadier General Paul Boro, has urged ex-agitators in the Niger Delta region to work with communities in protecting national economic assets, including oil and gas pipelines located in the region. General Boro, who made the call during a town hall meeting with stakeholders from across Ijaw communities in Oladiama clan at Gelegele community in Ovia North local government area, maintained that the federal government is fully committed to sustainable peace and development in the region.
Focusing on the right thing to do to include people of the Niger Delta, particularly the oil-bearing communities, to be involved in the oil, particularly ensuring that facilities are secure. Nobody will secure it for you except you.
Other speakers at the town hall meeting thanked President Muhammadu Buhari for sustaining the Presidential Amnesty Program and development initiatives in the region. High point was the donation of water borehole by the Special Advisor to the President on Niger Delta, Brigadier General Boro, to Gelegele community as part of Quick Impact Project. And this is it for this episode of the program. We hope to see you again next week, same time, for more on the activities of the Presidential Amnesty Program. Please continue to make use of our social media platforms for comments and contributions. And do remember always that amnesty works. I am Stella Inameti.